Hello, family. Blessings to each and every one of you. Praises to the Most High, unto His Son Yeshua, and unto the Ruach, the Holy Spirit. So, I wanted to come before you and share this information that has been circulating around the web within the past 3 days, now 4 days, about UFO sightings. But of course, as you do know, there are ones that have came and put their spin on it and saying no, it's not. It's actually dealing with the satellites. So it's just so amazing how within these past 3 to 4 days, how many news outlets, as far as online, as far as the storyline was surrounding around the UFOs. Also want to touch bases of a video about a sighting of I would say about 9 actual what they would call UFO sightings, where it was surrounding the White House in Washington D.C., and that was going back to about 1952. And just throughout the year, so many sightings throughout the United States and also in the world. And then one of my Hebrew brothers shared a video called Cosmic Slope, and that showed where the UFO came and said that they were coming to get all the black people. You had to have a certain melanated in your skin in order to be, taken up, and that which lined up with a lot of biblical, which a lot of my Hebrew brothers do speak on it, about the space shuttles being the actual chariot. And when you think of the song that is called, an old slave song called Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming for to carry me home. So it's like, now it's a lot of stuff becoming so real, so surreal. And there was a Hebrew brother who was praying in Hebrew, and he had seen over 1,500 sightings. And in seeing these sightings, the news outlet in his city actually came to visualize it. And it did happen when he prayed in Hebrew, and he asked the Almighty to reveal to him the sightings of a spacecraft, what we call, but UFO shuttle. So, and it did happen. That I don't recall his name, but he's no longer with us at this time. He passed on some years back. But I've heard other testimonies from one particular comes to mind, a Hebrew sister who said that she also prayed and asked, and she was able to see. And there was a time that another Hebrew sister said that the Almighty woke her up one night and told her to go look out the window, and there was one right outside where she can see it from her window. And I had a dream about, I think was last week, that I saw one in my dream, and but it didn't shape the way how the normal shape was. It was more of a rectangular, and it just, I view it, and then it took off real quick, just like you would see in the movies, or you would see within videos. Also, there is a young man, and you could hear many in a car that there were looking at, which was like what is called a pyramid over the not White House, but the Pentagon in Washington, and they took it when they was just driving by and they saw this. So a lot's been going on, and the Almighty haven't given me anything, to say this the way it would happen and how it would happen, but that cosmic slope speaks volume, and that was done back in 1994, and it only was showed on HBO. But I'll show a little clipping of that too. So here we go. It says here that the sharp witnesses identify worldwide UFO flap, and they're just speaking saying that this was satellites that was put in up into orbit. It says Memorial Day weekend had a new kind of fireworks this year. The weekend was filled with sightings report by the Mutual UFO Network. Witnesses who submitted more than 40 reports from around the world. Beginning on May the 24th, 2019, there was a spike in reports coming into the CMS database. It continued through the night into the early morning hours of the 25th, with a nearly record-breaking number of reports for that time period. Reports continue to come in on the 26th and also the 27th. And then it says astute witnesses also reported a straight line of dots, as many as 20 to 100 white lights moving across a local sky. Reports were received from Romania, United Kingdom, and Canada. Sightings across the United States included the states of Tennessee, New York, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Ohio, Maine, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Utah, Colorado, Oregon, New Mexico, California, and Washington. Many of the sightings occurred around midnight in each local time zone. So that's kind of odd because each time zone is going to be different time, but you saw it, accordingly. So, so what they're saying is, what was this mysterious line of white dots circling the globe? Well, it turns out that the SpaceX previously launched a Falcon 9 rocket into space with a huge payload. The payload was 60 small star-like satellites launched from the rocket into the low Earth orbit. These satellites are part of the new global internet system. They were low enough and bright enough to be seen when launched into orbit around the Earth in any location in which the skies were clear. As the satellites circled the Earth, they began to spread apart, increasing the distance between each. This is why the initial reports state 20 to 60 dots in a white line, and later reports spotted but a few dots. So the truth be told is that, of course, they're going to come and try to clean it up, you all. They're going to try to make it what they're going to make it, And for them to go to this degree to try to explain, that's why it says 20 to 60 dots, when originally that's what it says was 60 dots. That's what they're saying. But then as they see it, they start disappearing, then they're saying, oh, well, that's the reason, why we said either 20 to 60. Okay, so anyway, we already know what the deal is. So I'm going to go to an area where they say that they actually submitted with a few of the sighting reports. A case from Romania had a video which was nearly identical to that from a Netherlands observer who submitted a video to spaceweather.com. So I'm just going to click in here so you can see the video as it is. And the picture basically shows a lot there too as well. So here we go, the video. Trying to see if I can get it bigger. But you'll get the gist of it. So this is what it was in, like a formation line. And this is what they're saying is SpaceX. So the buzz was really out there all week and about all of this. And I was not looking at TV or anything. So I didn't get to see it. I just noticed that CNN did a little small report making a kind of joke about not this, but about not this, what they call a sighting, but just something that happened back a while back. So what it says below that, it said, I can see the entire train of satellites with an unaided eye. He says they were bright. So that's what they're saying. And of course, always going to be, we're going to try to make it to what they want it to be, and also fit the narrative so it can take you away from, you know, what, you know, it could be or is. That's just the way it is going to go down. That's why we need to get close with our Creator and know and understand truth. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this report, and then I'm just going to show you if it's going to allow me to. I got a lot going on here. So just to show you, a lot of sightings were done over the past, 3 to 4 days. You can see who reported near the Cut, New York Times, got CNN, the Rolling Stone, intelligence, or AC Central, Slate, New York Magazine, BBC, and if you even click a little further, you can see some more are going to come up. Disclosed TV, Orlando Weekly, and then of course it tells them about what Wikipedia that you can go more in depth in. So I did this video last night, and come to find out when I actually did it, it stopped recording, so it did not go through. So this is actually my second attempt doing this. So let's go to YouTube. Now, this is actually the video of the Cosmic Slope spacecraft, and how I came into finding out about this, it was, like I said, one of the Hebrew brothers. I want to say he's from GMS, and he often have talk about the chariots and what's involved, Enoch and Ezekiel, and a lot of my Hebrew brothers, not all. So I know we come from different understanding, and some go more in details than others about different things about our the revelation of the word and whatnot. But you just have to just know that this world that we have entrusted to give us knowledge, they have lied to us so much. And why would they keep this hidden if it wasn't something big? If it was something that there was, of any danger to us, these, what they would call aliens will be here, will be doing all the above. So a lot of people say, well, oh, they're demons, they're this or they're that. And we just have to take in stride, trust in the Almighty for all things, where we to not be afraid of any demonic spirits, if that's what it is. But for them to go to the extreme that they do to keep it hush hush, that is a reason behind it. So a lot of it adds up to make sense about this, what I'm next going to show you, to me, and coming into this video too as well. So this just actually 9 minutes here of this video, and once it stopped buffing, it's like 30 minutes. So I'm gonna just back out of here and just attempt to try again. And I was gonna go to, because I think I found his video, the Hebrew brother who did it. He said he put it out a long time ago, and it just started getting a lot of hits within this last actual last week or 2 weeks ago. So let me see if I can find his. He has a different name for it. He doesn't name it. So just bear with me. This is his right here. What you see, I've already played. It's 31 minutes. And now he has like 77,000 views on it. So I'm just going to click on his, and you can get an idea of what
some of these people have been out here since 2 o'clock this morning, so the aliens aren't scheduled to arrive before noon. But as you can see, the crowd is getting pretty excited as America prepares for its first encounter with space since NASA went bankrupt back in 1998. It's quite a circus.
Thank you, Stryker. Of course, we will go back to Plymouth Rock the moment the aliens are sighted. In other news, the Environmental Protection Agency has added Hartford, Connecticut to its list of cities to be evacuated by year's end. Carcinogen levels there have topped those found in Baltimore last year. The gap between black salaries and white widened. Wait, something's now happening at Plymouth Rock. Stryker.
Well, as you can hear, Bernie, there's definitely something going on now. We can't see anything yet, but this humming is definitely growing louder. You know, ever since the alien signal was first received some 3 months ago, speculation has run rampant as to their appearance, size and shape of their craft. Oh my God! Clearly, still a spacecraft of this material nowhere right over our heads. This is absolutely amazing. And this is literally an unbelievable sight. You know, as I look to my left, I see Vice President D'Amato and Secretary of State Buchanan approaching the microphone. For those of you who are concerned, President Taylor, of course, is safe and secure in an undisclosed bunker until it's determined whether or not aliens pose any threat.
Hello? Hello? Is this on? Can you understand me? I'm the Vice President of...
We are space traders, bearing exquisite gifts that will restore
He actually sound like Reagan.
former glory. Nearly limitless quantities of gold and precious metals that will instantly erase your deficit. Machines that will
So
renew
this
your
copy is a little
rivers
blurry,
everywhere.
but as you see, you can just look it up and find a clearer
For
copy.
safe,
Just
cheap,
want to give you
and
some
inexhaustible
insights
source
about
of
this.
energy. All we ask in return is the delivery to our vessels 5 days from now. Every child, woman, and man in your nation with at least 2,500 milligrams of melanin in their skin per square centimeter.
What the hell is melanin?
Put more simply, in trade for solving all your most pressing domestic catastrophes, we are asking for every person in your country that you would classify as black.
Are you kidding?
No, we are not.
What are you going to do with them?
Well, that does not concern you. We give you 5 days to decide, and the offer is non-negotiable. We will not try to coerce you in any way, yet I hope we can do some business together.
Now this is them at the with the president.
We waited all this time for a fucking UFO and they come here with this? It's all bullshit, right?
Maybe. Maybe this day's going to go down in history.
So Benson is the only, I call him Benson because that's what I know him from. I don't know his actual real name. But he's the only one that is black that is on the board with the president. And I'm going to just go a little bit inward into it. Because like I said, it's 30 minutes and I won't play the whole thing. I'll share the clip of it. And like I say, or either you can find your own link to one because it's this one is a little blurry and maybe because what we're doing is copying of a copy. But let me just zoom in a little bit more.
American, every remaining American, a tax-free.
So here he is dating a white girl. Maybe she is his wife. I'm not sure.
Denver and Los Angeles. Smog levels are reported at 0.
So now, what they're saying in this area is that
from Lake Michigan.
the Almighty gave them, according to what we said, the Almighty, but the space shuttles, they gave them the aliens, 5 days to give us up. and they will make good on like cleaning the earth of any impurities, like to see them sucking up any the smog or smut or whatnot. And then they actually gave them 13 trillion to play the for the trillion that we owe China, gave them money and made the Statue of Liberty by doing making good on what they're gonna give for us, is paying off the $1 trillion debt, and taking cleaning the earth, in this form. So according to the Bible, that's not gonna happen. The Almighty's gonna come back to redeem us, and He's going to what? It ain't gonna be given about anything. America's gonna be wiped off. Any nation that dealt with His people, who took His people, He's gonna deal with them. So I'm gonna move up a little bit further into this as well. And of course they got the church scene. Right here is really, it shows about the paper bag, that you have to be a certain color, and that tells you about the melanin in your skin. And then she actually bought her daughter, because her daughter was darker, so she wanted her daughter to be like her, because they're thinking that they're going to get away, and in order to get away she had to probably meet that criteria with those people. But Benson had so much clout, so they thought that he would be allowed to go to another part of the country, part of the world, and still live. But she brought some cream for her daughter, as you see this little, if I can get back to it right there, to say put on her skin and lighten her up. Okay, so I thought this was interesting here. I'm gonna play this part. The part that where
is trying. My God, I was at the last Boston store, and I just thought,
Yes, sir. And I'm taking all my scissors with me, too.
so he's ready to go. He's like, look, they come to get us, we ready to go.
Because you know us black folks, we don't like arriving nowhere on nappy-headed. So you really think they're going to send us away, huh? And I told you the one about the American dream. That's what all the niggas swimming back to Africa, with a Jew under each arm.
So they actually, in this segment too, you'll see where they're going to vote to send us back. They think they got a choice by voting. And you'll see also how that pans out, because they normally, it would take 24 hours to vote for the vote and all to be in. No, they did it like in seconds. They voted for us to go be taken. And because they said they'll have more money in this world, in America, for food stamp. We don't have to worry about that. And all of the things that they say that we suck up from them, in that capacity. So I'm going to just move on to where it gets to when it's time to leave.
Morning, Gail. Oh, you aren't a sight for sore eyes. Linda sends her regards.
England?
Promise is a promise.
So they think they're going to get away. And then also to get on the shuttle, everybody only could bring one suitcase, so that was interesting. Only one bag.
Not you, Gail. Promise is a promise. us out of the bag. Didn't you?
So now this is the school bus bringing all the people. Well, you see the bus bringing all the people because this is where the shuttle's going to come to get them. And they telling us we got to go, but they don't know. So a lot of it, adds up to what biblically, and then you can see where they got this storyline from. But for the whole world, a lot of people say, "Oh, I've seen that one time, and I was looking for it, I couldn't find it no more." I've never seen it ever. And there you go, coming for us. So all of this, which I, talk to ones that follow me on other pages too as well, that the world don't talk about Jacob's trouble, and they don't talk about the second Exodus, because that will tell them who the true people are and who that's going to circle around. It's not going to circle around the whole world in that capacity. There will be strangers that will go with us, but not in the sense like what we always been told. And I said, even if it was a Jacob trouble and a tribulation, then also a second Exodus and a second coming, it just, those all are the same. Second Exodus, second coming. Second Exodus, second coming. Jacob's trouble, well then the great tribulation or the tribulation. Those two the same, and the other two the same. So just say that the tribulation and the second coming is a separate whole prophecy that is going to happen. Well, Jacob trouble and also the second Exodus still got to happen before those two things happen. So anyway, so I'm going to go to, let me try to find another, let me go here. Okay, so this is UFO sighting in Washington, D.C. I'm trying to find the one that I had from last night. You can see a lot of things has been shown. Trying to get one with the guys in a car. I'm too far down here. Let's see here. Trying to get the one over the Pentagon. Let's try this.
Kiss open houses goodbye, because there are no open houses when you sell directly to Zillow.
Let's see, they want to give us, well, how do they look? That's how they look. Okay. Truth will unveil one day.
Unsealed Alien Files. By early July 1952, UFO sightings dramatically increase across North America, forcing the U.S. Air Force to make UFO investigation a top priority. But nothing could prepare them for what occurs over the most heavily guarded airspace in the world. the nation's capital. Unsealed case file. The Washington, D.C. flap. On July 19th, 1952, an air traffic controller at Washington National Airport picks up 7 objects on radar. He later describes them as completely radical compared to ordinary aircraft. Headlines the next day read, "Saucers swarm the Capitol." On July 26th, a national airlines flight reports more UFOs. Andrews Air Force Base tracks them on radar. Witnesses describe the lights as traveling faster than any shooting star. By July 29th, the Air Force issues an unprecedented shoot-down order. The Washington Post writes, no pilot has been able to get close enough to take a shot, as the objects are outflying the jets by 1,000 miles an hour. But exactly what is in the skies above Washington, D.C.?
There's something in our skies. It's faster than us. It's more maneuverable than us. We track them on radar. We send our pilots up to try and intercept them, and yet they give us the slip. What's going on in our skies?
Are these UFOs interplanetary ships from outer space? Or is there another explanation? With dozens of witnesses and radar evidence, the Air Force must calm an uneasy public. July 29th, 1952. General John Samford, Director of Air Force Intelligence, holds a press conference.
We've been able to explain them as hoaxes, as erroneously identified friendly aircraft, as meteorological or electronic phenomena, or as light aberration.
One of the explanations that was put forward for this by the Air Force was that this was caused by a temperature inversion.
But many in the UFO and scientific communities are unable to believe the explanation.
It is this group of observations that we now are attempting to resolve.
After Samford speaks, Major Donald Kehoe takes the microphone, and what he says is shocking.
With all due respect to the Air Force, I believe that some of them will prove to be of interplanetary origin.
Just how much did the government know, and how far were they willing to go to keep it from the public? Unsealed case file. The Robertson Panel. January 1953. After experiencing an unprecedented surge in UFO sightings, the CIA convenes the Robertson Panel.
The Robertson Panel was a group of scientists, radar experts, nuclear physicists, people that were brought together by the CIA to try and figure out how to deal with the UFO problem.
The head of Project Blue Book, Captain Ruppelt, presents cases with the most compelling evidence. Among them, the Tremonton and Mariana films. But Ruppelt quickly realizes the panel has already come to their own conclusions.
The objective of the Robertson Panel was already determined before they stepped into that room and started deliberating what that evidence showed.
After hearing just 12 hours of testimony over 3 days, the Robertson Panel's final conclusion is that UFOs do not pose a threat to national security, and that the overwhelming majority of sightings can be explained by natural phenomena.
Many experts now look at the documents and say, well, they really weren't doing their job as true investigators. They were collecting these reports, analyzing them, and pretty much dismissing them one at a time. Weather balloon here, swamp gas there, the planet Venus over here, and they were just completely dismissing anything that came in.
Years later, the secretary of the Robertson Panel, CIA operative Frederick Durant, reveals that the Robertson Panel was not tasked with investigating evidence, but with, quote, establishing a protocol for debunking UFO sighting claims.
If you've got a case with a really obvious conventional explanation, publicize those cases, and don't, whatever you do, publicize the unknowns.
This is the strongest evidence that Project Blue Book and the 12,000 plus cases that they investigated is not necessarily an investigation, but rather an explanation. And the Robertson Panel absolutely proves that.
Coming up, what Ruppelt secretly tells Air Defense Command just 2 weeks after the Robertson Panel would have shocked the nation. time to act is now. Tell us your story. The 1952 UFO wave shakes the nation and raises doubts about the effectiveness of the U.S. military against unexplained threats. But the U.S. government denies that the phenomena even exists.
It is inconceivable to me, as somebody who served in the Ministry of Defense for 21 years, that one could receive credible reports and then dismiss them without some form of proper scientific investigation.
Captain Edward Ruppelt, the head of Project Blue Book, is asked to brief Air Defense Command. In the meeting, Ruppelt allegedly reveals that based on a statistical breakdown of over 1,000 sightings, only 11% can be positively identified. The remaining 89% are categorized as probably identified, possibly identified, and unknown.
It doesn't matter what these things are. We need to calm the public down because the real threat could be society itself.
Since the extraordinary surge of UFO sightings in 1952, the American government to this day denies that it studies UFOs. But some believe otherwise.
That the government continues to investigate UFOs, but I suspect that they do it through the third-party offices, defense contractor hidden away from public scrutiny.
Without a central organization to collect information on UFO sightings and investigate them, no one knows how many UFO events occur each year. Will there be another 1952? How will we know? And will the government even warn the public?
Well, that tells you, really. He asked the question, will the government warn the public? No. So some people, I've heard sides where they're like, well, they're going to do this invasion and going to make, the world afraid and will fall for what this, was talking about, the Antichrist. So many different versions of different things, that you hear. But anyway, I'm going to go to the one that it showed about the Pentagon. And my phone is actually stuck right now. Sorry about that. Okay, so this one is. So this is the one. This is one of them here. Let me see if I can find the one I want. This is it right here.
honey.
Should not be here. And you know, it's starting to get cold.
So that is the one that is over the parent, actually over the Pentagon. So, for all we know, that according to biblical, the way it's lined out, when the Almighty sent Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh, and said, "Let my people go," who's to say that the Almighty already revealed and let Washington D.C., the president, and all them this truth to bring it more in full circle, to know not only that they know who we are, but of course, they have access to the Dead Sea Scrolls that is actually on the lock and key in Israel. Romans, Rome still have a lot of our artifacts and scriptures and what they took back when they invaded the Promised Land back in 70 AD. And so it's a lot, sisters and brothers. Just know that we need to put our trust in the Almighty and seek for even further understanding about what's to come. What I'm always led to share is that for each person need to get to know Him personally, that you will know when He does direct and know, of what's to come. You will know His voice. You will understand this in all forms. So again, get close to your Creator, and just know our redemption is near. Thanks, brothers and sisters. Have a great rest of your day. Shalom.